Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is the first part of what if Godlike Naruto was in high school DxD and got harem. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. It was a warm summer night in the Land of Fire's hidden ninja village of Konohagaku, or Hidden Leaf Village. Within the village many people were out and about, many civilians either on their way home or headed out for dinner with their families, masked ninja jumping about the village at high speeds looking for anything out of the ordinary, other ninja checking in after missions on their way to report their missions to their Hokage, and even a few children on their way back to their homes or one of the many full orphanages. Full since the attack on the village by the mightiest of all Biju, able to conjure tsunamis with the flick of a tail, destroy mountains with a single roar, and reshape the very landscape with no effort, the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Not 9 years ago, the Kyuubi had been sealed into a child after a brief but exceedingly destructive rampage by the one hailed as the greatest Kage of Konoha, Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, on that fateful night, and now said child sat alone on a swing in one of Konoha's many parks. He had been alone all day, watching on as all of the other children played with each other, not daring to get close and have the other children call him hurtful things like so many had done before them. While there was a law in place to stop parents telling their children about the beast sealed into the young child, it didn't work as it should have. The law simply prohibited the people who knew about the beast being sealed into the young child from revealing that to the young children. It didn't stop the older generation slandering the child, calling him a bad influence, or troublemaker, which in truth young Naruto Uzumaki was a troublemaker, but solely for the attention it granted him. No one showed him any attention, so he pulled pranks and caused trouble so people would pay attention to him. Naruto sat on the swing lamenting his own loneliness. He was an orphan who had been kicked out of the orphanage in which he had resided when he was 4, and now lived alone in an abandoned apartment complex. Abandoned after he had been given an apartment in the complex, no one wanting to live in the same building as the devil spawn. Naruto was usually a bright and happy boy who managed to bring a smile to his friends' faces when they saw his unique mop of spiky blood red and blonde hair, the brightness of his hair matched only by his endless blue eyes, the right being a pure ocean blue, the left being a green-blue color. "Naruto Uzumaki, you are to come with us," spoke a voice, making Naruto look up to see about 10 people all around him. All of them wore full-body black body suits with blank white masks with only the kanji for root on the forehead. All of them had weapons in hands, several had katana, a couple had tanto, and the rest simply wielded kunao. Naruto, upon seeing so many people similar to those who saved him from attacks by groups of villages, made him freeze. However, the masked people took his lack of movement as non-compliance and had been ordered in the event of non-compliance to eliminate Naruto, so that's what they planned to do. Several of the masked nin flashed through hand signs. Katon go Kakyo no Jutsu, fire-style fireball jutsu, called 4 of the masked ninja, launching 4 medium-sized orange flaming fireballs from 4 different directions at Naruto. "No please, I don't want to die," screamed Naruto, throwing his hands up and out to the side while closing his eyes in an effort to save himself from the inevitable. However, after a moment of nothing, Naruto looked up and opened his eyes to see a surprising sight. The 4 orange fireballs were now gone, and instead a ring of light blue fire around him, not getting any closer to him. "What did you do?" questioned one of the masked figures harshly, making the young blonde jump in shock. "Nothing, I swear," screamed Naruto, closing his eyes again, pushing his hands out. When Naruto heard several screams, he opened his eyes and looked up, shocked to see several of the masked ninja had burn marks on their chests and were now laying on the ground, not moving. Just as Naruto looked up, a katana blade was descending upon him, once more putting his hands up in an effort to defend himself as he closed his eyes and looked away. However, this time a distinctive sound of metal striking metal was heard, and Naruto looked up to see 2 men in front of him, one blonde, the other a red-haired man. The red-haired held a blade in his right hand in a backhanded grip, blocking the katana from slicing into Naruto. "I would appreciate you not attacking this boy," declared the blonde before he snapped his fingers and 2 balls of fire formed above his hands. "Don't worry Naruto, we're here to help," said the red-haired man, turning to Naruto with a smile, making Naruto relax. "You might want to close your eyes, Naruto, this is going to get messy," declared the older blonde, looking back at Naruto, who quickly nodded and closed his eyes. Sounds were heard: explosions, screaming, and blades slicing through flesh. Naruto opened his eyes as a hand landed on his shoulder and he looked up into the smiling faces of both of his saviors. "It's okay now Naruto, sleep," spoke the red-haired man, and like that Naruto felt sleepy, letting his eyes drop Naruto fell asleep. "Lord Gremory," spoke the blonde looking to the redhead with a nod. "Lord Phoenix," spoke the redhead nodding to the blonde before Lord Gremory picked up Naruto and a circle formed beneath each man's feet and quickly the circles rose from the ground engulfing both men, who disappeared as the circles fully engulfed them. However, unbeknownst to all involved, a pair of charcoal black eyes were watching the entire event with interest. So that's Minato-sama's kid, interesting," muttered the owner of said eyes before vanished in a swirl of leaves. #unknown location #. Naruto groaned as his eyes fluttered open only to be assaulted with light, making him close them once more almost instantly. Opening his eyes again, slowly letting them adjust to the light, Naruto noticed that he was not in his home nor in the hospital. In fact, he seemed to be in a stone room with a light hanging above him, in a bed from the feel of it, one of the most comfortable beds he'd ever slept in. Naruto sat up in a fright when he noticed he was not alone in the room. Pushing himself back against the wall, Naruto's eyes darted to the four girls looking at him in curiosity. One girl had waist-length bright red hair and bright blue eyes. The other three girls all had black hair. The first next to the red-haired girl had ankle-length black hair tied up into a long ponytail and violet eyes. The second girl on Naruto's other side had short black hair and violet eyes hidden away behind purple rimmed glasses, and the final girl next to the short black-haired girl, had long black hair and a pair of heterochromic eyes hidden away behind a pair of teal-rimmed glasses. The girl's left eye was violet, and the right was a light brown color. "Who are you? Where am I? What do you want with me?" questioned Naruto, looking somewhat fearfully at the four girls who looked at him confused. "Isn't it polite to introduce yourself before asking for the names of others?" questioned the short-haired bespectacled girl looking at Naruto. Sorry, my name is Naruto Uzumaki," stuttered a nervous Naruto. "Hi Naruto, I'm Rias Gremory, this is my queen Akeno Himejima, this is my friend Sana Satrai and her queen Tsubaki Shinra," spoke the red-haired girl, first introducing herself, then the long black-haired girl beside her, then the short black-haired girl opposite her, and then the final long black-haired girl beside Sana. "Queens?" questioned Naruto, confused looking at the four. "You know queens, evil pieces?" questioned Sana as if it were the most obvious thing under the sun. Naruto still looked confused, however he was saved from the girls' questioning when a new presence made itself known. "Slow down girls, Naruto-kun most likely won't know anything about evil pieces," spoke an older red-haired man walking into the room. Naruto looked up at the man and realized it was one of the two men who had saved him. "Thank you for helping me, sir," spoke Naruto, bowing to the man as he walked into the room. "No problem Naruto," said the red-haired man, waving off Naruto's thanks. "What do you mean he most likely wouldn't know about evil pieces? Tou-san, you said he's a devil," spoke Rias looking to the red-haired man. "Well, Rias, Naruto here grew up in the elemental nations, not the most popular place for any devils, angels, or fallen angels. That coupled with his devil blood has been suppressed and his parents were spoke the red-haired man, interrupted by Naruto. "You knew my parents?" screamed Naruto, making everyone look at him shocked. "You mean you don't?" questioned the red-haired man, looking at Naruto unbelieving until the blonde violently shook his head. "And no, I never met them," spoke Naruto, sadly shaking his head looking down. "Well, unfortunately Naruto-kun, you probably won't meet them, they're both dead, sorry," spoke Naruto's red-haired savior. Well, can you tell me about them?" questioned Naruto in a tone that made the hearts of everyone in the room shatter. "Their names were Minato Phoenix and Kushina Gremory, or as the humans of your world knew them, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki," spoke Ria's father. "Minato Phoenix, Kushina Gremory, Minato Phoenix, Kushina Gremory," spoke Naruto in his mind, letting the names become parentally implanted in his mind. "Wait, what do you mean humans of my world?" questioned Naruto, looking at the red-haired man. "Naruto-kun, myself, these four girls and even you yourself are not human, we are devils," declared Ria's father. Before Naruto could say anything about how crazy that sounded, Rias's father flared out a pair of bat-like wings, then the four girls did the same, and to Naruto's surprise so did he. However, his wings were different from everyone else's. Halfway along the wing his changed to blue flaming wings of a similar shape. "How come my wings are different?" asked Naruto, looking at his own wings, all other questions about devils leaving his mind. "Well, Naruto-kun, you are a hybrid of the Gremory and Phoenix clans. Phoenix wings are pure fire unlike those of other devils, so the mixture of the blood made your wings the way they are," said Rias's father, making all four of the young female devils' eyes go wide. Naruto just nodded. That sounded reasonable. This boy has no idea he is the child of two of the most respected and ancient clans in the underworld, thought Sana, looking over at Naruto, seeing his placid reaction. "This is cool and all, but I kind of want to go home," said Naruto, making Ria's father turn serious. "Naruto, I have been talking with Lord Phoenix and we have decided that despite how much you may want to, we can't let you go back, at least until we are satisfied you can defend yourself," said the man. "You're going to train me as a ninja?" questioned Naruto excitedly. "No, Naruto, we are going to train you to harness your devil blood and train you in devil magic," said the red-haired man. "Okay, awesome. When do we start?" questioned Naruto, excited. "Tomorrow. However, to begin with, Naruto, my wife, Vanillana, will be teaching you some history of the devils and the other factions in the worlds," said Lord Gremory. "Oh, okay," said Naruto, somewhat deflated but still with a grin. "For now, feel free to wander around and get familiar with the castle grounds. I'll have a maid accompany you to help you," said Ria's father before stepping out into the hallway. "Once you're settled in, Naruto-kun, come find us, we can play together," spoke Ria, standing up, the other three girls following her lead. "Oh, okay," muttered Naruto nervously as the four girls nodded before leaving the room. Naruto sat alone in the room nervously for a few moments before the red-haired man returned a moment later with a woman with long silver hair, two braids at the front which were tipped with blue bows. The majority of what remained flowing down her back, however, once more ended in two braids. The woman had a pair of silver eyes and was dressed in a blue and white maid outfit with a white maid headband over her head. "Naruto-kun, this is Grafia. She will accompany you for today," said the red-haired man. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto-sama," declared the woman, bowing her head to the blonde who looked at her nervously. All right, let's get moving, Grafia," said Naruto nervously, getting up, climbing out of the bed in which he sat. "While you are here, Naruto-kun, this will be your room," said the red-haired man, getting a nod from Naruto as he left the room. "Watch him carefully, Grafia," ordered Lord Gremory, getting a nod from the maid as she quickly followed a rather nervous Naruto. #next day Naruto was quietly walking down the halls of Gremory Castle. He was headed towards the library, one of the many rooms Grafia had made sure to show him to the previous day. Walking a few paces in front of Naruto was Ria's mother, Vanillana Gremory. As Lord Gremory had said the previous day, Vanillana had called on Naruto after he had eaten his breakfast to begin teaching him. Arriving in the library, Naruto followed Vanillana towards what appeared to be the middle of the library, where a table and a chalkboard were situated. "Sit, Naruto," said Vanillana, pointing to the table. Naruto sat at the table and looked to Vanillana nervously. Vanillana sat opposite him with a soft smile on her face, setting his nerves at ease. "So Naruto-kun, let's begin. Tell me, what do you know about devils?" questioned Vanillana. She had been told by her husband that the boy would not likely know anything, but she wished to know for sure. She was starting from scratch. Nothing, Vanillana-sama," said Naruto respectfully but still clearly nervous. Vanillana nodded to Naruto, however she was curious why he seemed so scared. The boy looked sad that he knew nothing of his species. "It's okay, Naruto-kun, it's understandable, devils are secret from most people," said Vanillana with a soft smile. Naruto let a small smile grace his features as he looked up at the woman. "All right, Naruto-kun, we'll start with recent history of devils," began Vanillana. Several hours later. Naruto walked away from the library with a book under his arm. Vanillana had covered the basics of the three great factions, the angels, the fallen angels and finally the devils, before going over the major battles of the last great war, and then finally the origin and purpose of the evil pieces. I wonder if I can get a set of evil pieces, muttered Naruto looking at the book in his hands. He was supposed to read the first chapter of the book. He was scared what Vanellana would say to him tomorrow when he told her he didn't do it because he couldn't read, but that was for tomorrow. Until then he had other things to do. He just hoped she didn't get really angry at him. "Hey Naruto-kun," came the voice of Rias from inside a room as Naruto walked past it. "Hey Rias, what can I do for you?" asked Naruto from his position frozen in the doorway. "Do you want to watch some anime with me?" asked Rias nervously. She didn't want Naruto to think she was strange for watching anime. "What's anime?" questioned Naruto, making Rias perk up. Of course, he doesn't know what anime is. Maybe I can get him to watch with me, thought Rias. She wanted a friend who watched the same stuff as her. She wanted to have someone to talk to. Akeno didn't like many anime, nor did Sana or Tsubaki, and those were the only devils her own age she liked. "It's really cool, come here, sit, watch with me," said Rias with a smile, patting the seat next to her. Naruto hesitantly nodded and moved over to the seat and sat down very stiffly. He wasn't used to people wanting to do things with him. Hell, he wasn't used to people talking to him, full stop. Rias lay her head on Naruto's shoulder, making him stiffen. "You okay Naruto-kun?" asked Rias, lifting her head up and looking at him. He just nodded and she lay her head back down on his shoulder as the two watched. Naruto was for the first little while not paying any attention to the show in favor of making sure Rias didn't turn around and hurt him while his guard was lowered. But after about 20 minutes he had relaxed a bit, enough that he could watch the TV but was still ready to bolt at a moment's notice. #hours later. Naruto and Rias sat in front of the TV having eaten their dinner and returned to watch more anime. The young blonde devil had found himself really liking the show. Naruto looked at Rias to ask her something only to see her asleep on his shoulder. Gently moving her from his shoulder, he stood up, catching head before it hit the couch. Naruto looked at the red-haired girl. Deciding he couldn't leave her there, he picked her up bridal style and headed towards where her room was. He only knew as he was sleeping in the room next to hers. She snuggled closer to him as he walked. He was kind of thankful and at the same time not thankful that no maids were in the halls. As he walked, he would have been embraced about having Rias asleep in his arms, but the maids could have taken her to bed while he went to his own. Walking into Rias's room, Naruto walked over to her bed and pulled her quilt back before placing her down onto her bed. Going to stand back up, Naruto found Rias to be holding him rather tightly by his shirt. Naruto sighed and tried to pry her hands off him. "No, stay warm," muttered Rias in her sleep. Naruto again tried to pry her hands off him, but with no luck. Naruto looked at the girl, panicked. Nervously he climbed into the bed next to Rias before pulling the quilt over the both of them. Naruto lay there terrified as Rias slept soundly next to him. Rias awoke from her slumber like any other day, naked and in her bed. However, thinking back to the previous evening, she couldn't remember how she got to her bed. The last thing she could remember was watching anime with Naruto. Her mental search was interrupted when she felt the bed move a bit. Looking next to her, she saw Naruto, screamed Rias, waking up, said boy. Naruto upon awaking leaped out of her bed and onto the floor in a panic. Looking around, he saw a naked Rias sitting on her bed looking at him. He then remembered what happened and dropped to his knees. "I'm sorry Rias, you fell asleep on me and I brought you back here, but you wouldn't let me go. Please don't hurt me," begged Naruto on his knees, bowing to the girl. She looked at him shocked. She was about to tell him it was fine when the door was just short of ripped off its hinges and in ran her brother. "Rias, what's going on? I heard you scream," questioned the red-haired man before he spotted Naruto on the floor. "Is he why you screamed?" questioned the red-haired Satan. "Rias, what's going on?" asked Lord Gremory, running into the room, followed quickly by Vanellana, who quickly spotted Naruto on the floor. "Naruto? What's going on here?" questioned Vanellana. "He startled me. I fell asleep on him last night and he brought me back here, but I wouldn't let go, so he slept with me. I woke up and was startled by him being in my bed," said Rias, looking over to the now shaking boy. Vanellana walked over to him, making him shake more. "Please don't hurt me," whimpered Naruto, not looking up at the woman whose face was one of shock, as was everyone else, including Grafia, who had just stepped into the room. "Naruto-kun," said Vanillana. Naruto didn't move an inch, he just cowered away from the woman. Naruto-kun, look at me, said Vanillana in a calm tone. Again Naruto moved not an inch. Naruto, said the woman in a sweet and calm tone, making him just peek up at her only to see her smiling. Naruto-kun, it's okay, it was a misunderstanding, said Vanillana, rubbing circles in the boy's back. However, as she did her eyes went wide before narrowing slightly. Why don't you come with me, Naruto-kun, we can get started on today's lesson, said Vanillana with a soft smile to the blonde, who looked at her shocked and still a little scared before he nodded ever so slightly and stood up slowly and followed the woman out of the room. Rias watched Naruto leave with a raised eyebrow. He confused her a bit, which she didn't like. You really need to stop stripping in you sleep, Imato, especially if you're going to start sleeping with Naruto-kun, said Surtsuke, looking at Rias with a smirk. Nii-sama, screamed Rias, blushing up a storm as her father, brother, and sister-in-law chuckled before walking out of the room, leaving Rias, who sighed. Naruto-kun, thought the girl, looking down at the ground where he had been not moments before. Hashtag with Naruto and Vanillana hashtag. The two devils soon walked into the library, Vanillana having asked a maid to bring Naruto's breakfast to the library while she got him started on the lesson. As the two walked to their table, Vanillana put her hand on Naruto's shoulder just before he sat down, making the nervous Naruto turn to her. Why yes? Questioned Naruto, looking at the woman. Naruto, show me your back, spoke Vanillana calmly. Naruto looked terrified as he took a step back from the woman. For Vanillana that was all she needed to know. Her fears were true, but she still wanted to see it with her own eyes. Please, sweetie, asked Vanillana sweetly, looking at Naruto in a caring way. Naruto looked at her, still scared, but nodded a bit before turning around. The red-haired blonde devil reached for his shirt, fearful tears forming in his eyes as he began to pull his shirt up, his hands beginning to tremble as he did. Once his shirt was clear of his back, Vanillana was torn between teleporting to Konoha and leveling the place and hugging her trembling godson, well, devilson as the case may be. Almost all of Naruto's skin was stained with a scar, burn or lightning scar, but the one that made her blood absolutely boil was the large devil spawn carved into his lightly tanned skin. And not only was Naruto scarred, but the boy was dangerously underweight even for a devil. You poor child, I'm so sorry, Naruto, spoke Vanillana sweetly as she reached forwards and pulled the young devil into an familial embrace. Naruto was shocked by the sudden contact, like with Rias the night before, froze. However, this time it only lasted a second before he fell apart and started crying. Zidicus needs to know about this, Ruby and Rilvine too, thought Vanillana, as she shed a tear for Naruto, who stood there crying for several minutes, and during that time he relaxed more and more into Vanillana's embrace. As Naruto's crying slowed to the occasional choke sob, Vanillana gently wiped what remained of the boy's tears from his eyes. Okay sweetie, you can put your shirt back on, I think your breakfast will be here shortly, said Vanillana, sensing the maid coming closer to the library. Naruto put his shirt back on just as a maid stepped into the room carrying a relatively large platter. Thank you, stuttered Naruto as the maid placed the food in front of the hungry child before bowing and leaving the room. You stay here and eat, Naruto, I just remembered there is something I need to do before we get started today. If you finish eating before I get back, just go on with the reading, okay? Questioned Vanillana, looking at Naruto, getting a nod from the blonde as he dug into his breakfast. Vanillana took that as her cue to leave. Stepping out into the hall, the purple-eyed devil let her rage flood her system, causing a great pressure to form around her, cracking the floor and walls around her as the air began to spark with the red and black aura of her birth clan's power of destruction. Are you alright, milady? Questioned one of the maids nervously, looking at the raging Vanillana. No, was Vanillana's curt reply before she moved off. Watch over Naruto, ordered the woman. The maid just nodded, moving quickly to make sure the new young master was okay. Vanillana tried to suppress some of her rage enough to not crack the floor when she took a step, but was failing miserably, destroying the floor with each and every step. Kaa-san, called the voice of her son Surtsuke, temporarily snapping the woman from her rage haze. Vanillana turned to see Surtsuke, with Graphia standing beside him, both looking shocked and somewhat scared. Yes, Surtsuke, spoke Vanillana, taking a deep breath before speaking. to calm down a bit. Why are you so angry, if I may ask Kaya-san, spoke Grafia looking at the woman concerned. You two probably should know too, come with me, spoke the woman before walking away, confusing the red-haired Satan and his wife, who nonetheless followed as Vanelana made her way to her husband's office. Zedekis, spoke Vanelana stepping into her husband's office. Yes dear, questioned the red-haired man looking up from his paperwork to see his lovely wife angrier than he had ever seen her, his son and daughter-in-law behind his raging wife both looking confused. What's the matter Vanelana, questioned Zedekis looking at his wife concerned. It's easier to show you, but Ruby and Rilvine need to see this too, declared the woman, making Zedekis' eyes to widen. There was only one reason both of them would need to see something that made his wife this pissed. Grafia, would you be so kind as to go and call Lord and Lady Fenix, tell them it's about Naruto, said Zedekis, making Surtsk's and Grafia's eyes go wide in realization before the silver-haired maid quickly walked out of the room. What specifically about Naruto, questioned Zedekis looking at his wife. He. I can't even bring myself to say it, but you will need to try and keep your anger in check. He's terrified as it is, and trust me, after seeing this you will want to wipe that fucking village from the face of the elemental nations, declared Vanelana, making both her husband and her son narrow their eyes. The three devils waited in silence for several minutes, Vanelana trying to calm herself but once more failing miserably. Zedekis, mentally preparing himself for whatever it was his wife declared that he needed to see, and Surtsk was scared of both what he might see on Naruto and his mother's rage. He had never seen her this angry. Grafia returned several minutes later and stood beside Surtsk, and even she, the strongest queen in the underworld, the silver-haired queen of annihilation, was scared of the rage rolling off Vanelana. I'm surprised the Fenix can't feel the rage from there, thought Grafia to herself as she tried not to aggravate the woman. Several moments later a fiery circle formed in the center of the room on the floor before rising up, creating a roaring fire within the room, which when subsided revealed two blondes, one man, the one who along with Zedekis had saved Naruto, and next to him stood a blonde woman. She had long sunny blonde hair tied into a long ponytail, cerulean blue eyes and a heart-shaped face. Both newcomers flinched when they felt the rage within the room, the woman turning to Vanelana in shock. What's happened? Questioned Lady Fenix looking at Vanelana. It's easier to show you, but you have to try and stay calm. Naruto is very skittish and 6 raging adults is not likely to help, declared Vanelana, looking to the two Fenix, getting a confused nod from each of them. All right, come with me, said Vanelana, motioning for everyone to follow as she walked out of the room. The 5 other devils looked at each other before Grafia and Lady Fenix moved to follow Vanelana, followed shortly by the males. Quickly moving to the library, Vanelana managing to form a facade of calmness as they walked. The 6 devils walked in to find Naruto sitting at the table within, opposite the maid Vanelana had asked to watch over him. And with that Lucifer was cast out of heaven, spoke the maid to Naruto, who had yet to notice the return of Vanelana. That's part of the chapter I asked you to read last night, Naruto. Why is Hitomi reading it to you now? Questioned Vanelana, making Naruto jump as he turned to the woman with a fearful look, which turned to a look of pure terror upon noticing she was not alone. I didn't read it last night, muttered Naruto, making Vanelana look at him with a quirked brow. And why is that? Questioned Vanelana calmly. She would wait for his explanation before getting angry at him. Muttered Naruto nervously. I didn't catch that, spoke Vanelana. I said. Declared Naruto once more, again not at an audible volume. One more time, said Vanelana. I said, I can't read, whimpered Naruto, looking down, not daring to look into Vanelana's certainly disappointed eyes. Oh Naruto, sweetie, why didn't you say? Asked Vanelana, stepping forwards, pulling the child gently into a hug. I sniff, thought why you'd sniff, be mad at me, spoke Naruto, tears forming in his eyes. The other devils just looked on, angry at Konoha for obviously treating Naruto horribly. However, it was only going to get worse in a moment. It's okay Naruto, I'll teach you how to read. You should have said, it's okay to talk to me about things like that. I promise I won't get mad at you, spoke Vanelana sweetly. Naruto just nodded, tears threatening to fall from his eyes. All right, now Naruto, I know you don't want to, but I need you to show us your back. Okay, spoke Vanellana. Naruto once more looked up at her frightened. I promise it will be okay, said Vanellana in a calming tone, making the young blonde calm down slightly and nod. Vanellana let Naruto go and he turned around and reached for the bottom of his t-shirt. Vanellana turned away not wanting to see his back again, turning to the other 6 devils including the maid she saw them standing there shocked as Naruto lifted his shirt revealing his malnourished and scared form. Naruto began to tremble as he felt the rage roll off the males of the group. The women were also enraged but managed to hold it back. Vanellana seeing Naruto trembling glared. Zedekis, Rilvine, Surtsk, stop it, you're scaring him, snapped Vanellana, making all 3 men flinch at her tone and her glare. Naruto by this time had removed his shirt and was standing with his back to the other devils, his right hand holding onto his left elbow. Oh Naruto, spoke Lady Phoenix kneeling down and pulling the boy into a hug. I'm so sorry, sweetie, if I'd known you were alive I would have taken you out of that Satan-forsaken village years ago, declared the woman. Naruto once again was frozen by the hug the woman had pulled him into and then again by her words. What do you mean if you'd known I was alive? Questioned Naruto looking at the blonde woman who was smiling warmly at him. I would never have left my dear nephew in such a horrible place. We tried to find you after your parents died but we couldn't find you, spoke the woman, but one word and one word alone caught in Naruto's mind. And nephew? Questioned Naruto turning and looking at the woman shocked not even daring to hope. That's right Naruchan, I'm your aunt, said the woman with a smile. Oh Basan, whimpered Naruto hugging his aunt. The 6 adult devils temporarily forgot the boy's form and just smiled happily at the family moment. Naruto just stood there hugging his aunt, tears falling from his eyes. Lady Phoenix just let her nephew hug her and cry on her shoulder. I'm going to burn that fucking village to the ground, snarled Rilvine after a moment. No don't, spoke Naruto pulling away from his aunt looking at Rilvine who looked back at his nephew shocked. How can you defend them after everything they've done to you? Questioned Rilvine looking at Naruto unbelieving. I'm not defending the whole village, just some of the people from the village who helped me. I don't want them to die, said Naruto. Alright, tell us and we'll leave them alive, declared Zedekis, making Naruto look at him before shaking his head. No, like he said, the village did this to me. If anything is going to happen, I want to be the one to do it, declared Naruto pointing to Rilvine when the blonde said he, not knowing the man's name. It might take years for you to get that strong Naruto, spoke Surtsk. Well, I better get started then, said Naruto narrowing his eyes. The comment got Vanellana, Ruby, Rilvine, and Zedekis to smirk. He looks like Minato, and acts like him sometimes, but that was defiantly some Kushina shining through, thought Vanellana smiling at Naruto, her thought summing up the thoughts of all 4 of the older devils. Alright then, we best get you up to speed, declared Vanellana, making Naruto look to her from within Ruby's arms and nod to her. Ruby let go of her nephew who quickly put his shirt back on. Come Rilvine, I think we have some things to discuss, spoke Zedekis moving towards the door, the elder Phoenix nodding before leaving. I think I've kept Rias waiting long enough, spoke Surtsk leaving the room, Graphia following as she was training Akeno. This left Ruby, Vanellana, Naruto, and the maid left in the room. You can go now Hitomi, spoke Vanellana getting a nod from the maid as she left the room, leaving Naruto with his aunt and devil mother. Okay, to start today, given I now know you can't read, I will use a memory spell that will temporarily give you a photographic memory, said Vanellana. Naruto tilted his head to the side. Photographic memory? Questioned Naruto, not knowing what the phrase meant. It means you only need to see things for a few seconds before you remember it, said Ruby, making Naruto look to the woman before nodding. Okay, do it, spoke Naruto getting a nod from Vanellana, whose left hand became cloaked in a black and white miasma. Placing her hand against his forehead, his head glowed for a second as he closed his eyes. A moment passed before Naruto opened his eyes, and to neither female devil's surprise, Naruto's irises were no longer blue and instead were silver, indicating the spell was in effect. Okay Naruto, are you ready to begin? Because the only breaks you get today are toilet breaks, declared Vanellana, getting a determined nod from Naruto. Hashtag with Rias hashtag. The red-haired Gremory heiress was outside in one of the castle's training grounds. She was with Akeno and the two of them were waiting for Surtsk and Grafia respectively. However, Rias was not thinking about what she was going to be learning. No, her mind was currently occupied by Naruto. After his rather terrified reaction earlier, Rias had been wondering about him. Every time I see him he ends up scared, thought Rias to herself, thinking over all of her interactions with him. He was scared of all four of us when he woke up. Last night he seemed tense when we were watching anime, and earlier he was so terrified when I woke him up, thought Rias to herself, her thoughts interrupted by Akeno snapping her fingers in front of Rias' face. Rias? Questioned Akeno, looking at her king. Sorry Akeno, what is it? Questioned the red-haired girl. You spaced out on me, what's up? Questioned Akeno. It's Naruto, spoke Rias, confused. What about him? Questioned Akeno. Just he seems. I don't know. Does he seem jumpy to you? Questioned Rias, looking at her queen. What do you mean? Questioned the young queen. Well, he seemed so terrified when he woke up the other day. I mean, did you see what he did when he saw us? Then last night I was watching anime with him and I leaned against him and he froze. I asked him what was wrong. He told me it was nothing. Earlier today he startled me when I woke up. I fell asleep on him last night and he took me back to my room, but I wouldn't let go, so he slept with me, and when I saw him in my bed I screamed and he leapt out of bed and was apologizing before I even asked what was going on, said Rias, making Akeno quirk a brow. The black-haired queen thinking back over the interactions she had had with Naruto. However, before Akeno could do any serious thinking, she was interrupted when Surtsk and Grafia walked up to the two of them. Sorry we're late, you two, apologized Surtsk. Nii-sama, spoke Rias, making the red-haired devil look to his sister. Is something wrong with Naruto-kun? Asked Rias. Surtsk and Grafia shared a quick glance. What makes you think that? Questioned Surtsk calmly, hiding his surprise. Well, he just seems so jumpy around me. He was terrified when he woke up and saw Akeno, Sana, Tsubaki, and me. And last night when I was watching anime with me he froze when I leaned on him, and then there's what happened this morning, said Rias. It's nothing to worry about, Rias, he's just nervous, this is all new to him after all, spoke Surtsk. Rias nodded to that, it made sense, but it didn't seem like everything, but she let it go for now. Hashtag a week later. Hashtag. Naruto once more sat in the library in front of Vanillana. In the past week the boy had learned many things, ranging from devil history, to basics about all of the heavenly pantheons. Much to Vanillana and Ruby's confusion, Naruto had picked up reading much faster than either of them had expected, even with the photographic memory leading them to believe he did know how to read, but the information was locked away behind a mental block. However, neither woman was willing to test whether it was a self-imposed memory block or not. Okay, we're done for now, Naruto, why don't you run along? I'm sure Zyticus is waiting for you, spoke Vanillana with a smile. Naruto nodded excitedly. Today he would begin learning magic. The blonde redhead jumped out of his seat and rushed out of the room. He is so much like both of them, it's not funny, muttered Vanillana with a smile, looking at where Naruto used to be, remembering her two friends. Naruto wandered quickly through the halls. He had a book under his arm that he would drop back in his room before heading off to see Zyticus. Good morning, Naruto-san, spoke a voice from behind Naruto, making him jump. Turning around, Naruto saw Sana there with Tsubaki, Rias, and Akeno. Hey, spoke Naruto nervously. The blonde had become somewhat more comfortable around Rias and Akeno because they had been around constantly, but he still wasn't used to Sana and Tsubaki. How are you today? Questioned Sana with a smile. I am good, Sana-san. Look, I gotta go, spoke Naruto before quickly running off. Rias looked to Akeno, who looked at the running form of Naruto and back to Rias, shrugging. What's that about? Questioned Sana, looking at Rias. What? Questioned Rias. You two look like you're confused by something, declared Sana. Well, Naruto has been confusing me. He seems so terrified for no reason. I mean, you saw how he acted when he woke up and saw us. Yeah, spoke Rias, getting a nod from Sana. Well, the other day he and I were watching anime. I leaned on him and he froze. he said it was nothing but I'm not sure. Even worse than that, later that night I fell asleep and he took me back to my room, but I wouldn't let go, so he stayed with me, and the next morning when I woke up seeing him in my bed startled me, which woke him up, and he was already apologizing desperately before I could even ask for his explanation, and he seemed so terrified of what would happen, spoke Rias confused. We did ask Surtsk-sama about it, and he told us that he was just nervous, but that doesn't seem like the whole story, declared Akeno. You said he froze when you leaned on him, spoke Sana with a quirked brow, getting a nod from Rias. Have you seen him freeze like that with anyone else? Questioned Sana. Rias thought for a moment before nodding. Yeah, he froze when Nii-sama put his hand on Naruto's shoulder the other day, spoke Rias confused. And he's jumpy like that around everyone, not just us, right? Questioned Sana, getting a nod from Rias. Although he has been getting better around Kaia-chan, but that might be because he spends so much time with her, spoke Rias, getting a nod from Sana. Are you thinking he isn't used to physical contact, Sana? Suggested Tsubaki, looking at her king confused. Well, that's what it sounds like, although, spoke Sana. Although? Although what? Questioned Rias. It could be even worse than that. He is jumpy around everyone. He doesn't know social norms, from what he said about not knowing it's polite to introduce himself before asking for someone else's name, and he clearly doesn't know his parents by his reaction when your father mentioned them. Maybe, spoke Sana with a sad and somewhat disturbed look. Maybe what? Questioned Rias, her mind not willing to even entertain the possibility of what Sana was suggesting. You aren't suggesting he's been abused, are you, Sana? Questioned Akeno with wide eyes. Well, he is jumpy around everyone, from what I've seen, terrified of people who have only shown him kindness, spoke Sana, not wanting to believe what she was suggesting. No, no one would do something like that to Naruto, he's too nice, declared Rias. Think about it, Rias, it does make sense, unfortunately, spoke Akeno, looking to her king, who looked at the other three, who seemed to accept that as the theory. Rias then turned back to where she saw Naruto running off moments before. Naruto-kun, thought Rias sadly. Hashtag with Naruto hashtag. The blonde red-haired devil himself was walking into Zidaka's office, practically bouncing on the balls of his feet. Excited are we, Naruto-kun? Questioned the red-haired man, looking up from his paperwork at the young blonde redhead, who vigorously nodded. All right, well, we'll head outside and begin, declared Zidaka, getting a nod from Naruto, who turned around and just short of sprinted out of the door. Zidaka smirked, rolling his eyes and shaking his head. The Gremory clan head stood from his desk before a ring formed under his feet and rose up, engulfing him as he teleported outside. Naruto meanwhile was running through the halls of the castle, ducking, weaving, and diving out of the way of maids and anyone else. Luckily he managed to get to the entrance hall with no difficulties. Walking outside, Naruto found Zidaka waiting for him. You took your sweet time, Naruto-kun, said Lord Gremory, who was leaning on the wall next to the large doors. How did you get out here before me? Asked Naruto, looking around for some explanation. Magic, spoke the red-haired man mysteriously, waving his hands around. Come on, Naruto-kun, we should get started, declared the man, getting a nod from the blonde before the two devils walked along the path leading to the castle gardens. Walking into the gardens, the two devils moved to the rear of the area so any magic to get out of hand wouldn't destroy anything important. Alright, Naruto-kun, to start you need to learn to harness your magic. The best way to begin that process is for you to try and form your wings, so I want you to think of the strongest image you can think of while concentrating here, and here, said Lord Gremory, touching Naruto's back on his shoulder blades one after the other, indicating where Naruto had to be concentrating on. Naruto nodded before closing his eyes while racking his brain for an image to use. There were so many scenes that flashed through his mind, but most of them were less than pleasant. It took a few moments for Naruto to come up with an image. It was from when he was 5, after being attacked by a mob. Naruto had found himself on the verge of unconsciousness, and appearing between him and the mob was a silver-haired Umbu agent, his left hand cloaked in lightning, and the alley was filled with the sounds of thousands of birds chirping, and next to him stood a purple-haired woman with a dozen snakes slithering out of her trench coat sleeves, and like that the image ended. Naruto concentrated on his shoulder blades with the image of the Umbu agent left hand cloaked in lightning and the lady with snakes. However, before he could get started, that image shattered and another appeared in its place, a memory Naruto couldn't place from where or when, but it defiantly was his memory. This second memory was himself at about 7-ish with a young girl, whose name he couldn't place, beside him, and a man, whose name also slipped his mind, standing in front of the two of them. The girl had light blue, neck-length hair. She also had a strand of hair that was slightly raised but went downwards on the top of her head. She had yellow eyes and a white hairband. The man had black hair, with golden bangs and a black goatee. His eyes were violet in color, but they showed nothing but rage, not at Naruto or the girl beside him, no, for a creature standing over the two of them, a bipedal wolf creature which, Naruto immediately knew was a werewolf. The man wore a purple trench coat which was stained with blood from the bisected werewolf. Bisected by the weapon in the man's hands, it was a blade of pure golden light which felt dangerous to the young Naruto. "You're okay now, Naruto," Yuuki spoke the man, offering Naruto and the girl a hand. Naruto, whose eyes were stained with tears, accepted the man's hand. It took several moments of concentration on the memory, but Naruto felt a pair of wings flare out from his back. Naruto opened his eyes, and to his happiness the wings had formed like the first time he had seen his wings, black and bat-like until halfway along before turning light blue and flaming. "Well done, Naruto, very well done, not many devils get it on their first try," said Zedekis, making Naruto blush at the praise and smile sheepishly, breaking his concentration, making his wings vanish. "Now I want you to continue to practice that until you can do it without thinking about that image, and takes no time for your wings to appear," said Lord Gremory, getting a nod from Naruto, who then proceeded to try again, his wings appearing marginally faster than before. "Good, keep on going, Naruto," spoke the red-haired man with a smile. "All right, Naruto, we're done for the day," spoke Vanellana, looking at Naruto, who nodded and stood up, grabbing a book as he stood. It had been about a month since Naruto had arrived in the underworld. He had slowly but surely grown used to most of the devils within Gremory and Phoenix castles, as well as Sana, and Tsubaki. Also during the month Naruto had managed to get his magical control to a decent level so he could summon his wings on command, and had begun to learn basic pyrokinesis. Naruto walked out of the library quickly, moving down the halls. Naruto headed towards his room to drop off the book he had magical training with his uncle to get to. "Hey Naruto," spoke a voice, snapping the blonde from his thoughts. "Oh hey Rias, what's up?" questioned Naruto, turning to face the girl. Beside her stood Akeno, Sana, and Tsubaki. "We were just going to the hot springs, wanna come with us?" questioned Rias. "Sorry, I'm training with Uncle Rilvine shortly, but thanks anyway," spoke Naruto. In truth, he didn't want to go with them, not because he didn't like them or anything, but because he didn't want them to see his scars. It was bad enough when Vanellana had found out about them and made him show Zedekis, Ruby, Rilvine, Surtsks, and Grafia. "Oh, okay, we'll see you later then," spoke Ria somewhat sadly as Naruto nodded before walking away from her. Naruto made it to his room without incident, and after putting his book on his bed he concentrated his magic on the area around his feet, and with a flare of his magic a light blue magical ring formed beneath his feet, which quickly rose up, engulfing the young blonde red-haired devil in flames, and like that he was gone. #Phoenix Castle #. Naruto appeared outside the stereotypical castle of his father's family. Waiting outside of the large stone building was Naruto's uncle Rilvine. "Ah Naruto, you're on time again, good," spoke Rilvine upon spotting his young nephew. "Well, I'm learning about my magic, I'm still excited about it is all," said Naruto, nervously looking at the ground. "If only my youngest son had your enthusiasm," muttered Rilvine, looking skywards. "He just needs a good kick in the pants, then he'll want to get stronger, Uncle Rilvine declared Naruto confidently. "I hope you're right, Naruto," spoke Rilvine with a smile. "Anyway, let's get started for today," spoke Rilvine, leading Naruto to what they had been using as a training ground since Naruto started his pyrokinesis training. "All right Naruto, I want to see how far along you've come in the last month," declared Rilvine, getting a nod from Naruto, who flared his wings out in an instant, getting a nod from Rilvine before Naruto put his hands out to the sides far enough that they were under the blue flames of his wings, running his hands through the flames. A ball of flames, roughly twice the size of a tennis ball, formed in each hand. Naruto brought his hands out in front of him, where he willed the flames to form a long line of flame connecting the two balls of flames. Naruto then formed the flames into the shape of a sword within his hands before he threw the flame weapon towards Rilvine, who didn't so much as flinch as his nephew guided his light blue flames out and around Rilvine. Naruto drew his flames back to him before gathering all of the flame in one hand above his head. The blonde red-haired devil flared more magic into the ball of fire, making it increase in size until it was the size of a small house. "Okay Naruto, that's good," said Rilvine, getting a nod from the blonde, who let his control slip and the flames vanish into air. "Alright Naruto, now the next portion of your training is learning to make fire from nothing," declared Rilvine. His comment got an interested look from Naruto. "To make fire from nothing, you must understand the fundamental principle of fire, and that is what is fire. Fire is energy created when atoms move at a fast pace, which creates heat and then fire," declared Rilvine, holding his hand out, palm facing upwards. Naruto watched closely as the air seemed to blur for a second before bursting into flames, and a small ball of fire formed in the palm of Rilvine's hand. Naruto's eyes went wide. "Alright now Naruto, you try. Now this is a high-level skill, so don't be disappointed if it doesn't come to you all that quickly," declared Rilvine, making Naruto nod. "It helps to have a target, so try and light that tree on fire," spoke Rilvine, pointing to a random tree towards the edge of the castle yard. "You're not just using me to get rid of a tree. Auntie Ruby won't let you get rid of, are you, Uncle Rilvine?" questioned Naruto, looking at his uncle with a raised eyebrow. "No, what makes you think that?" asked Rilvine. "I heard you complaining about too much bush or something like that the other day," spoke Naruto innocently. Rilvine's face went red. Secretly thanking the Satans, Naruto was so young and innocent. "No Naruto, that was something else," muttered Rilvine, not looking the 9-year-old in the eyes. "Oh okay," said Naruto, turning toward the tree and getting started. Several hours later. "Alright Naruto, that's enough for today," spoke Rilvine, drawing the young red-haired blonde's attention to him, only for Naruto to see not only his uncle but his aunt, Vanellana, and Zedekis. Naruto nodded and stopped trying to light the tree on fire and walked over to the older devils with a confused look on his face. "Naru-chan," spoke Ruby, making the young Phoenix Gremory look to her. "With the information provided by Rilvine and Zedekis on your magical training and the speed at which you have been picking up what myself and Vanellana have been teaching you, we all believe that you should be given your evil pieces," spoke the blonde woman, making Naruto's eyes go wide. "Are really? I get my evil pieces?" questioned Naruto. "You are a high-class devil and you have a reasonable understanding of your own magic, and a great theoretical knowledge. However, the decision is at this point entirely up to you. Do you yourself believe you can form a peerage? Be their leader? Help them with their own training? And all other responsibilities that come with owning a peerage," declared Vanellana, making Naruto look to her for a moment with a thoughtful look before nodding confidently. "Okay, well in that case Ruby and I will take you to Lilith to have you registered as a king," spoke Vanellana, holding her hand out to Naruto, who stepped over to the woman, taking her hand as Ruby grabbed Naruto's other hand, and a magical ring formed beneath the three of them before raising up and engulfing them in a flash. "Do you really think he's ready?" questioned Zedekis, turning to Rilvine. "No, but as your wife said, it is entirely Naruto's decision. There is still much for him to learn, but who knows, with a peerage behind him it may push him even greater than before," declared Rilvine, getting a thoughtful nod from Zedekis. With Naruto, Vanellana, and Ruby. The trio of devils appeared from the teleportation circle on the outskirts of the devil's underworld capital of Lilith. Naruto looked down the streets nervously. While he may have become comfortable with the devils of both the Gremory and Phoenix castles, Naruto was still terrified around most people. "It's okay, we're both here, we won't let anything happen to you," spoke Ruby, squeezing Naruto's hand reassuringly. Vanellana doing the same. This calmed Naruto somewhat, but he was still on guard as the three walked the streets of Lilith. Naruto looking left to right, never looking in the same place for more than 2 seconds. Both Vanillana and Ruby cursed Konoha for making such a young child so skittish. They both would have teleported to Konoha and leveled it, but they respected Naruto's wish to be the one to take action himself enough to simply let the matter lay for the time being. The three devils walked into what looked like a large park, Naruto still looking everywhere, making sure nothing could take him by surprise. Moving through the gardens, the three devils soon came upon a large stone pillar within the center of a clearing where 4 pathways converged under the stone pillar. "Naru-chan, sweetie, we're here," declared Ruby, making Naruto look up at her, then over to the stone pillar before looking back at Ruby with a confused look. "You touch that pillar which registers you as a king and then your pieces will form," said Vanillana, drawing Naruto's attention to her. The young blonde redhead raised an eyebrow but stepped forwards anyway. Stepping up to the pillar, Naruto just sent one last glance back to Vanillana and Ruby before putting his right hand, palm flat on the stone pillar. "Registration pending. Species, 90% pure blood devil, 10% yokai, kitsune. Ranking, high class devil. Clan, Phoenix, Gremory. Age, 9. Previous registration attempts, N/A family, Minato Phoenix, father, Kushina Gremory, mother. Registration approved. Please hold your left hand out, flat palm upwards, Naruto Gremory Phoenix," spoke a deep voice from within Naruto's mind. Naruto flinched, completely forgetting what it said about species before following instructions, and held his left hand out, palm upwards and flat. To Naruto's great shock, a cloud of red energy formed atop his open palm. The cloud dissipated with leaving 15 blood-red chess pieces in the blonde's hand. Naruto let a grin spread across his face as he looked down at the pieces in his hand, only to raise an eyebrow as he saw 6 pieces glowing. "Wow, aren't you lucky, Naruto-kun, not 1 but 6 mutation pieces," said Vanillana, looking at the pieces in Naruto's hand. On the outside she was relatively calm, but on the inside she was shocked to her core. It was rare for devils to get 1 mutation piece, it was almost unheard of for a single devil to get more than 2, and was almost inconceivable for a devil to get more than 5 right off the bat. Had Vanillana and Ruby not seen it with their own eyes, they would have never believed Naruto had 6 mutation pieces, let alone some the rarest piece to have a mutation piece, the queen, a knight, and a bishop. The other 3 were slightly more believable given they were the same class pawns. "You told me that mutation pieces are rare, right?" questioned Naruto, looking up at Vanillana, the information he had learned and the facts in front of him contradicting. "I did. You are incredibly lucky, Naruto-kun, those pieces are really powerful," said Vanillana. Naruto just looked down at the pieces with an intrigued expression before he pocketed the chess pieces. "All right, sweetie, time to go," spoke Vanillana, looking at Naruto, who nodded. "I'll see you soon, Naru-chan," declared Ruby, kneeling down to Naruto and hugging him. The young devil hugged his aunt back before she stood back and vanished in a teleportation circle. Naruto, who was waving to his aunt as she left, continued to wave for a moment before he and Vanillana were too engulfed by a teleportation circle and they vanished. #Gremory Castle #. Naruto and Vanillana appeared outside the castle doors to see several people there. Standing there was Zidicus, Surtsks, Graphia, and 2 devils Naruto didn't recognize, on who looked to be as old as Vanillana and Zidicus, and the other looked to be about his age. "Misla, Sareorg. What are you 2 doing here?" questioned Vanillana, walking up to her sister-in-law and nephew. "Vanillana, you said if I needed a place to stay your doors were always open. I'm sorry about showing up unannounced," spoke the older of the 2 unknown devils. No, it's fine, come in, tell me what happened," spoke Vanillana, wrapping her arm around the obviously distressed woman as the 2 walked inside. "Sareorg, this is Naruto. Naruto, this is Sareorg, Surtsks and Rias' cousin. Why don't you 2 go and play? I think Rias, Akeno, Sana, and Tsubaki are in the rear gardens if you want to play with them," said Zidicus, introducing the 2 9-year-olds before he quickly followed his wife and sister-in-law. "You 2 play nice, okay," ordered Surtsks, making both young devils look at him nervously and nod. "Sorry, Graphia, and I have things to do," spoke the red-haired man with an apologetic look as he and his wife walked away, leaving the 2 nervous children alone out the front of the castle. Hi, I'm Naruto, spoke the blonde nervously, holding his hand out to Saraorg. My name is Saraorg, declared an equally nervous Saraorg, shaking Naruto's hand. Should we go find Rias? Questioned Naruto. He got a nod from Saraorg, who seemed to calm down at the mention of his cousin. The two young boys quickly walked away from the front of the castle, headed towards the back of the castle. So are you one of Rias' evil pieces, Naruto-san? Questioned Saraorg, trying to make conversation. No, why would you think that? Asked Naruto, confused. I haven't seen you here before. And Rias already has her queen. What's not to say she didn't find someone else to make a part of her peerage, spoke Saraorg. And no, as of an hour ago I'm actually a king. I was born in the elemental nations. I am a pure-blooded devil, but my parents lived in the elemental nations, but they died. And I was found about a month ago by Zedicus and Uncle Rilvine, said Naruto, making Saraorg nod before the two fell into a silence as they walked. It was only minutes later that the two young boys made it to the entrance of the rear gardens. Saraorg looked around for Rias but didn't see her and was about to leave when Naruto walked straight past him and in a seemingly random direction. Saraorg, seeing no better option, followed Naruto. As the two moved through the gardens, giggling and talking was heard. Naruto and Saraorg followed the sound of the giggles. Oh, Naruto, hello, said Sana, as Naruto walked into the clearing. Rias, Akeno and Tsubaki were in. Saraorg? What are you doing here? Asked Rias, turning to see her cousin beside her friend. Kaa-chan told me we were visiting you for a while, spoke Saraorg with a smile. Oh, okay, do you and Naruto want to join us? We're playing Truth or Dare, questioned Rias. Sure, spoke Saraorg, sitting down between Rias and Tsubaki. Naruto-kun? Questioned Rias, looking to the blonde redhead. Okay, but you have to tell me how to play. I haven't played before, declared Naruto. The four female devils narrowed their eyes ever so slightly. That only adds to Sana's theory, thought Rias sadly. Okay, well, Truth or Dare is really simple. The bottle in the middle gets spun around and whoever it points to, or the closest one to where it's pointing, gets to pick someone and they have to answer a truth or dare question, but they get to pick whether it's a truth or a dare question, said Sana, making Naruto nod to her as he sat between her and Akeno opposite Rias. The bottle within the circle of devils was spun, slowing to a stop, pointing at Sana. #10 minutes later. Rias once more spun the bottle. Having finished her turn, the bottle spun for a moment before slowing down until it finally came to a stop on Naruto, who looked shocked. It landed on him but then began scratching his chin before he came up with an idea. Sana, truth or dare? Questioned Naruto, looking at her with a raised eyebrow. Truth, said Sana, taking a moment to think before answering. What's your dream for the future? Asked Naruto. He hadn't been playing like everyone else, he was more using this as a chance to learn about them and get closer to them. My dream for the future? Questioned Sana, looking at Naruto somewhat nervously. Naruto just nodded to her. Well, I want to open a raiding game school open to all devils, not just high-class devils, said Sana anxiously, not looking at Naruto while rubbing her arm nervously. That's a great dream, I'm sure you'll do it, said Naruto, making Sana's head snap towards Naruto with a look of shock on her face. The others in the circle looked towards Naruto with intrigued looks too. What? Asked Naruto nervously. You actually believe that I can do it? Questioned Sana. Well, sure. Why wouldn't you be able to do it? Asked Naruto, confused. The majority of devils believe that low-class devils should learn about anything to do with devils, said Sana, looking down. Well, then we'll change those views, said Naruto with a smile. Wait, you're going to help me? Questioned Sana, looking at Naruto surprised. Yeah, why wouldn't I help my friend? We are friends, aren't we, Sana? Questioned Naruto, sounding unsure of the latter fact. Of course we are, Naruto-kun, said Sana with a smile to the young blonde, making him smile back at her. Alright, next spin, declared Naruto, spinning the bottle in the middle of the group. The bottle spun and spun before landing on Saraorg, who rubbed his chin. Alright, Naruto, truth or dare? Questioned Saraorg. Truth, declared Naruto, thinking on it for a moment. Okay. What's it like growing up in the elemental nations? Asked Saraorg, making everyone's eyes go wide. Naruto's eyes went wide before quickly returning to normal. Rias, Sana, Akeno and Tsubaki's eyes went wide before glancing at Naruto, concern and intrigue. Well, it's different from growing up here, but at the same time it's similar. People are taught from a young age to use chakra, which can do really cool things like make fireballs, bolts of lightning, spears of earth, dragons of water and tornadoes. People are also taught to use weapons from about the same age, like swords and kunai and stuff, said Naruto, forcing a smile as he said it, rubbing his back as he talked about weapons, which all four of the girls picked up on. His back? Why is, oh no, they couldn't not Naruto-kun, thought Rias to herself, spotting Naruto's gesture. Why is he rubbing his back like DHA? Oh Naruto-kun, what have they done to you? Questioned Sana, she too sharing a similar thought to that of Rias. Why is Naruto-kun rubbing his? No, that can't be why, thought Akeno, having a similar thought to Sana and Rias. No, they wouldn't. Please tell me they wouldn't, thought Tsubaki to herself, seeing Naruto rubbing his back. Oh, that sounds pretty cool, said Saraorg somewhat excitedly. Before he then leant forwards and spun the bottle. Once the bottle stopped, this time it was pointing to Rias, who looked up in thought for a moment before turning to Saraorg. Saraorg, truth or dare? Asked Rias, a smile on her face. Let's be different, dare, declared Saraorg with a grin. Okay, I dare you to go and insult Graphia's cooking, said Rias with a smirk. Saraorg's skin paled as he heard the dare. No way, declared Saraorg, looking away from the group. What's the matter, Saraorg, you chicken? Asked Naruto, trying to rile the young devil up. Yes, actually, have you seen that maid angry? It's not nice, and there is no way to make dash, began Saraorg, only to be interrupted by Naruto imitating chicken sounds. Naruto, shut up, ordered Saraorg, trying to shut the blonde up, only for him to keep going. I said shut up, Naruto, repeated Saraorg, only for Naruto once more ignore him. Shut up, yelled Saraorg, slamming his fist into Naruto's gut. Saraorg, yelled Rias, looking at the doubled over Naruto, who was wincing in pain. It's, fine, I deserved that, groaned Naruto. Sigh, let's do something else now, suggested Rias. Like what, Rias? asked Sana, looking to the girl. Hot springs, suggested Rias with a shrug of the shoulders. That sounds nice, declared Sana, shrugging. Yeah, let's go, stated Akeno, standing up. I agree, said Tsubaki, pushing herself to her feet. Sounds like an idea, spoke Saraorg. You guys go on without me, I have, stuff to do, said Naruto nervously with a smile, backing up, drawing a raised eyebrow from Saraorg and downtrodden looks from the four girls. Come on Naruto-kun, it'll be fun, said Rias, hugging Naruto's arm. Please Naruto-kun, asked Akeno, looking at Naruto with a pout. We just want to hang out more, please Naruto-kun, said Sana, tilting her head to the side, holding her hands together in front of her stomach. Please Naruto-san, spoke Tsubaki, looking at him sadly. Come on buddy, you can't honestly say no to these faces, can ya? asked Saraorg, throwing an arm over Naruto's shoulder. Naruto sighed and nodded. Alright, let's go, said Naruto, defeated by his friends, following their lead as they walked towards the hot springs. #hot springs. Several minutes later. Naruto walked with Saraorg into the male change rooms. He had several options. He could wait until Saraorg had gone before and then leave, but he would get an even bigger guilt trip from Rias, Sana, Akeno, and Tsubaki if he did so. That option was out. He could change as quickly as possible and be the first in and last out of the water, or he could wait until everyone else had got into the water and hope the steam would cover his scars. The second option is the dash, thought Naruto to himself, only to be interrupted. You coming, Naruto? asked Saraorg, who had already apparently changed and was headed in. Yeah, I'll be in a moment, declared Naruto, inwardly cursing at his slow speed. Naruto quickly stripped down and changed, wrapping a towel around his waist before walking out into the actual hot springs, only to see all 5 of the other devils already there, and minimal steam. Once more Naruto inwardly cursed his luck. Walking along the side of the hot springs, Naruto heard several sharp intakes of breath behind him. "Naruto-kun, why you're back?" stuttered Sana, seeing the blonde's scared back. "Now do you guys see why I didn't want to do this?" questioned Naruto, looking away from the five devils, holding his left upper arm with his right hand. "I'm sorry, I can't do this," said Naruto, turning back around and briskly walking back to the change rooms. The five young devils were too shocked to follow after Naruto as he left. Several hours later. Naruto, sitting at the table eating his dinner, could feel 5 sets of eyes upon him. He didn't need to look up to tell Rias, Sana, Akeno, Tsubaki, and Sareorg were all looking at him. He had been avoiding them all afternoon since they had left the hot springs. Naruto stood up, having finished his food, and left the room. The 5 young devils watched him leave with varying degrees of concern. "What's the matter, you 5? questioned Vanellana, looking at the young devils confused. "Kaa-san, have you seen Naruto-kun's back?" questioned Rias, distraught. "Oh, you've seen it then," said Vanellana flatly, wincing as her hand covered her face. "What's wrong with his back?" questioned Misla, looking to Vanellana, concerned for her friend's son. She, like Vanellana and Ruby, had been Kushina's friend when she was alive, so much so that Kushina had considered naming Misla Naruto's devil mother, but after seeing her family's situation, Kushina had decided on Vanellana. Not that Misla held it against Kushina; had their positions been reversed she would have done the same. "Almost every inch of his skin is scared or burnt, and someone carved the words devil spawn into his back," declared Zidicus, making Misla look to him. "And no, please tell me you're joking," spoke Misla, dreading the answer. "Do you think I would joke about that kind of thing?" snarled Zidicus, shocking everyone in the room, none of them, excluding Vanellana, having seen the red-haired Gremory clan head so mad. "Sorry, I shouldn't have snapped," muttered Zidicus, looking away from everyone. Rias quickly finished her food before leaving the room, looking for Naruto. Sana followed Rias' lead after finishing her own dinner. The black-haired king, after leaving the dining room, ran to catch up to her friend. "Any ideas where he could be?" questioned Sana as she fell into step beside Rias. "I'm not sure, the lounge room maybe," muttered Rias, trying to think of the places she had seen Naruto. The only places she could think of were the lounge room, the library, his bedroom, and outside the castle. The 2 young devils walked through the halls of the castle towards the lounge room. "Sana, Rias, wait up," came the voice of Akeno from behind them. The 2 kings stopped and turned to see both of their queens quickly jogging up to them. Once the 2 queens caught up, the 4 girls continued on their path, and true to Rias' guess, they found Naruto in the lounge watching anime. "Naruto-kun," spoke Rias softly, making the blonde turn to her before looking down. "Why, yeah, Rias, what's up?" asked Naruto, not meeting the redhead's gaze. "How did you get those scars on your back?" questioned Rias. I don't want to talk about it, Rias," spoke Naruto nervously. "Please, Naruto-kun. Did it happen in your village? Did they hurt you?" questioned Sana desperately. "I really don't want to talk about it, please," begged Naruto. "But Naruto began Rias. "No, please drop it," spoke Naruto, interrupting Rias. "Sorry, I just remembered I have reading to do, see you later," spoke Naruto, getting up and walking away. Before any of the girls could say anything, Naruto had left the room. All 4 girls looked towards where Naruto had been sadly. "Naruto-kun," muttered Rias, looking down. Several days later. Vanellana sighed as she looked at Naruto as he diligently read the material she had asked of him. "I wish you would stop avoiding Rias and her friends, Naru-chan," muttered Vanellana, not really intending for him to hear. "I would, Vanellana-oba, but they won't stop asking about my scars, and I don't want to talk about them, I just want to forget them," spoke Naruto sadly, looking up from his book, getting another sigh as well as a sad nod from Vanellana. "Okay, Naru-chan, you can pack up for now, we are finished for the day, but once you're finished, Zidicus asked to see you in his office once you were done," spoke Vanellana. Naruto nodded as he began packing away the books he had open in front of him. Leaving 3 on the table, he put the rest back on the shelves. Walking back to the table, Naruto took the 3 books and left the library. Walking down the hall, Naruto was thankful that Rias and Akeno were spending the day with Sana and Tsubaki, so he didn't need to be on the lookout for them, and Sareorg and his mother were out as well, so Naruto could freely walk about the castle without being pestered about his scars. Naruto, deciding to see what Zedekis wanted, headed to the red-haired man's office first. Naruto made it to the man's office in about 5 minutes, however walking into the office Naruto found that Zedekis was not alone. Rubio Bazan, Rilvinajizan, questioned Naruto, stepping into the office to see his uncle and aunt as well as both Vanelana and Zedekis. "Good afternoon, Naruto," spoke Zedekis, drawing the young blonde's attention to him. "We called you here because we have a way to remove your scars," spoke Zedekis, making Naruto go wide-eyed. "What?" questioned Naruto, not believing what he had heard. "We can heal your scars, Naruto-chan," spoke Ruby, happily looking to Naruto, who looked to his aunt shocked. "How?" questioned Naruto, not even daring to hope that they could. "With this," declared Rilvin, pulling a vial out of his pocket before presenting it to Naruto, who looked at the object with a raised eyebrow before taking it from Rilvin. "Magical, clear liquid, phoenix tears?" questioned Naruto, swirling the bottle to see the liquid, trying to guess what it was. "Well done, Naruto. Yes, they're phoenix tears and they should heal your back," said Ruby. Naruto nodded, looking down at the vial. "It's up to you if you want to use them, Naruto," spoke Zedekis, getting a nod from Naruto before he quickly uncorked the fancy vial. Tipping his head back, Naruto downed the liquid in one gulp, and he felt a surge of magical power flow from the liquid towards his back, where he felt the skin of his back torn apart before being stitching itself back together like it was nothing. The sensations of his skin breaking down and reconstructing made Naruto wince, despite his high pain tolerance built up from when those scars were inflicted upon him. After several minutes the feeling went away and Naruto's face loosened back into a smile as he quickly pulled his shirt off. However, with his back to the 4 adults, they looked at him confused. Upon seeing their looks, the Gremory Phoenix hybrid looked around for something reflective to see his back. "Why didn't it heal them all?" questioned Zedekis, looking to Rilvin. "I have no idea. They have to be perfect tears, otherwise it wouldn't have worked, full stop," muttered Rilvin, looking at his nephew's back in anger. By this time Naruto had found a mirror to look at his back and tears began to form in his eyes. "Naruto-chan, it's okay, began Vanelana, looking at Naruto sadly. "Thank you," spoke Naruto, interrupting Vanelana and making all 4 devils look to him. "This is more than I could have ever hoped could have been healed, and you 4 went so far for me, thank you," spoke Naruto, looking at his still somewhat scared back. The devil spawn scar was still present, along with maybe half a dozen lightning scars and then another half a dozen regular scars, and even those scars appeared shallower. "That's alright, Naruto-chan, going so far for someone is what family does," spoke Ruby with a smile. Naruto looked at her slightly shocked before smiling and nodding. "Rubio Bazan, Rilvinajizan, could I stay with you for a while?" asked Naruto.